Back in 2017, because I didn't have a dedicated desktop computer and I needed something I could use to draw on the go, I purchased an iPad Pro, and it's been my go-to device for creating digital art ever since. I've used Procreate on it, but mostly use Clip Studio Paint's iPad app, and it's been an amazing experience. I love my iPad Pro, and it's allowed me to create so many things over the years. But recently, I finally decided to try out a larger pen display to handle more demanding tasks like creating animations and projects where the larger screen size will ultimately benefit me. So after literally years of research and keeping an eye on the pen display market, I finally reached a sensible conclusion in the XP Pen Artist 22 second generation. At a retail price of around $500 US, this was the perfect solution for me. And in this video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of both the iPad Pro and the XP Pen Artist 22 to give anyone who's in the market for a drawing tablet an idea of which one might be best for you. So let's get started. So, to go over the pros of the iPad Pro, let's start with zero latency between the Apple Pencil and the screen. This makes it really easy to draw on, and you're not going to have any lag or weird parallax issues like you might have with some other drawing tablets. The touch functions are amazing and is probably the best touch experience you can find in any tablet available, including Wacom. I don't know what Apple did here, but just the feel and the smoothness and the ability to just use your fingers, like the double tap, 2-finger double tap, undo, 3-finger double tap, redo, pinching and zooming. There's so many things you can do, and it all feels so natural and so smooth when you're using it. If you don't like the glossy screen, you can always get a film-like paper screen protector to make the drawing surface feel more like you're drawing on paper, or just if you want that little rougher texture when you draw. I actually prefer this, and I have a film that I put over my iPad. It has great apps like Procreate, Clip Studio Paint, and a bunch of other free or cheap apps that you can use for illustration and animation. You can use it for all your other needs, similar to using it like a laptop. If you want to watch movies, put on Netflix, even pull up like Excel files and stuff like that. The iPad is an amazingly capable device, and of course it's all paired with your other Apple products if you're someone who is in the Apple ecosystem. So things like airdropping straight to your iPhone and stuff like that make certain workflows just flow that much smoother. The Apple Pencil is also great. You can get little grips. I prefer to put a little grip on mine, and the drawing experience is really good. The way the second generation Apple Pencil just attaches to the iPad and charges like that is really awesome too, and I have had no problems with my Apple Pencil and think it's a great drawing device. Alright, now to go over some of the cons of the iPad Pro, let's start with the fact that it lacks the higher power for 3D modeling and power intensive apps, and it just might not have the GPU to provide enough power for you if you use apps like that. Even the M1, M2 iPads are probably gonna fall short of what a dedicated desktop with higher, more powerful GPU and memory can afford you. The screen size, if that's going to be an issue for you, the iPad Pro gets up to 12.9 inches, but for all the other iPads, you're looking at 11 and smaller. So if you're someone who needs a lot of screen size, a lot of space to work on, that's something to consider. The storage size. So unless you're going for 512 gigs or 1 terabyte or more, which I recommend you do if you're getting an iPad, you might be running out of space, especially if you work with larger file sizes. And probably the biggest con for the iPad Pro is that it's so expensive. You're looking at least, $1,700, $1,800 plus US dollars, especially if you want the 1 terabyte storage option, and that's not cheap. That is a pretty penny. And the thing here is though that the normal iPads and the other options, some of them are quite budget friendly, getting down to as cheap as $300 or $400 new. So while it is expensive, that's something to consider. Alright, now let's take a look at the XP Pen Pros, and this is looking at the Artist 22 second generation model in specific. So, my favorite thing about this tablet is that it is USB-C. Dear God, thank you. I would not recommend buying a larger tablet like this right now unless it is USB-C compatible, because you want to future-proof things that you're going to buy that may be expensive. And with the shift away from USB-A and HDMI ports, most computers nowadays run some of them solely on USB-C. So if you can find a good tablet that is USB-C compatible, which also works with other HDMI cables and stuff like that, that is something I highly recommend that you look out for and look for when you're looking to buy a new tablet. Obviously, the big screen. So really, anything bigger than 13 or 16 inches, you can really start to tell the difference here. But having essentially a 22-inch screen is amazing. The real estate that you can move your arm around on, having the space there is amazing, and it feels so good to draw on. Another pro is that it's mountable. So it has the VESA mount where you can mount it on a stand, an adjustable stand, or a monitor arm that you can put on your desk and have it move around in a bunch of different angles and get that nice drawing angle that you like. Speaking on that, with a bigger screen, you get better drawing angles and better overall ergonomics with your posture and how you're going to be sitting at your desk for possibly long hours on end. You get access to power-intensive apps like Blender, Photoshop, any apps that do 3D modeling and stuff like that. You're going to be able to use them if your computer can handle it. You can use a shortcut remote for shortcuts and hotkeys. This is going to be so much of a time saver, especially if you can figure out a workflow that works for you. These tablets can also be used as a second monitor for when you're not using it to draw. 22 inches is pretty big. That's essentially like having a 21 or 23 inch monitor that you might already have as your main monitor for your computer. Having that much space as a free monitor for when you're not drawing can be extremely useful. And probably the best pro for the XP Pen Artist 22 2nd Gen and for most XP Pen tablets in general is that they're fairly cheap, especially when compared to an iPad Pro or other expensive drawing tablets like a Wacom, like some of the high-end Huion tablets. You probably aren't gonna find a better budget-friendly drawing tablet out there, and the quality with the XP Pen tablets so far from what I've seen has been really amazing, and the fact that they're able to sell it for this price is awesome, and it gives lots of people who wouldn't have had the chance otherwise to dip their toes into digital art and drawing on a tablet like this. Alright, now let's get into some of the cons of the XP Pen tablet. So the first one, obviously, due to its big size, is it's not very portable. You also have to have it plugged into a computer, so even if you have a laptop or something like that, it's not going to be as easy as just carrying around an iPad. The other thing too is you need a computer to use it. These are not standalone drawing devices, which some people often confuse. When you have an iPad, you can just use it as is. With a drawing tablet like this, you have to hook it up to a computer in order to use it, and you have to be using software on the computer in order to draw on it. One thing is you have to worry about drivers and random bugs that may occur with your tablet or on your computer. You have to constantly update things and make sure everything's okay, because if you run into a problem, you'll have to go online, look through some forums or some help searches and try and figure it out. You know, XP Pen is pretty good. They have a lot of troubleshooting forums and stuff like that. I know Wacom does as well, but this is just something that you have to consider. There are also no touch features, so you're not going to be able to pinch and drag and zoom and double tap like you can on the iPad. So if that's something you prefer, then that might be another problem that you have to look into. Some people don't think it has the best drawing feel or worry about things like slight parallax and the feel of the pen on the screen, getting jittery lines and stuff like that. Personally, for me, in the few months that I've had it, I have not had any issues with that. And I've found it to be a very good drawing experience. So that can be a con, but only if it affects you to a certain extent where you feel like it's going to make your drawing experience less enjoyable. And this one's kind of obvious, but it takes up a lot of space. So it can be bad for people with small desks or small workspaces. 22 inches is big. And while this XP Pen tablet is not that bulky, it's actually very slim. It still takes up a lot of space, so keep that in mind and plan for that if you're looking to buy a bigger tablet like this. So, which one is better for you, right? That's the question. Here's the deal. They're both great in my opinion. It's going to come down to what you need for your own art or your own creative workflow. If you really want the bigger screen and are going to run those power intensive apps like Blender or fully utilizing Photoshop with tons of layers, go with the XP Pen tablet or a tablet like the XP Pen. If you're a casual or beginner artist who does mostly illustration work and occasional small animations, the iPad Pro or the regular iPad or iPad Air, if you need a budget option, may be the choice for you. If you're someone who likes to curl up on the couch and do some light sketching or work on illustrations on the go, then it just makes more sense to go with the portable option. The main thing here is that neither are bad, and both are actually great devices to work on. I just hope that through showing my experience with both of them, it'll help you make the right decision for you. And please always remember, these tablets and technology we use to create art are incredibly helpful and make life easier for digital artists. But there are no magic shortcuts, and you still have to put in all the time and effort in order to improve as an artist. So keep drawing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.